Alright, listen up. This video will contain big spoilers for the New Testament, alright? Don't say in the comments, I didn't warn you. So if you haven't caught up with the new season yet, here's your fair warning. I will try to keep the Old Testament spoilers to a little minimum, if any at all, because that's not really relevant. Now, this video has been long in the making. A little lore about myself, I am not much of a manga guy, I'm more of an anime visual person, which means when it comes to religious texts like the Holy Bible, the Quran, I've always kind of lagged behind, right? So about a year ago, my fiance's sister, she is a holy woman, she is so sweet, the best. Her and her husband were over at our house and they were watching this one show called The Chosen. I was just there eating my dinner in the background, just kind of watching because that's something they were watching, and it kind of piqued my interest, so I asked her a little bit about it, and she said it's about Jesus and his disciples, which is all fine and good, but on top of that she told me it's very biblically accurate. Now that piqued my interest. Sadly, that's when Silk Song happened. I got a little bit busy, but then last month after I beat the game, which you know, Silk Song is very much about religion, it reminded me of The Chosen. So I sat down with a bowl of popcorn and started watching the show. It was pretty interesting. As much as it was about Jesus, it was about his disciples. Now, I'm not the one to just take an anime for its word. You know how anime is, you know, they take some creative liberties, they change the source material, all that hoopla. I think in my whole life, the only anime that I've seen that closely follows the manga is Attack on Titan. So I got this bad boy right here, just to cross-check what I was reading. I did go through the Gospel of Matthew and John in its entirety. The others I kind of skimmed through, but the point is, I watched all 5 seasons of The Chosen, and it got me really curious about these disciples, because they're such lively characters. And here I am in a ranking video. So there's 12 of these guys, and we're gonna go rank them from 12th to number 1 in my own personal preference. Okay, this is not an attack on your taste or your family. If you like Andrew more than Peter, that's your forte, okay? I'm not gonna judge you, because Jesus says no. Starting off with number 12, and number 12, again, big spoiler warning, it's Judas. Judas! Now, the anime is a little bit behind the manga at this point. The Chosen 5th season ends when Judas just betrays Jesus. So I was really curious as what to happen, which is again why I'm glad I had the reference book right here. I hated Judas so much by the end of the show that it just brought certain satisfaction and joy to my heart knowing that he ends up himself before they even crucify Jesus. The whole time this man was on screen, I was like, bro, just shut up, please. Oh my god. Nothing will rage bait you more than watching Judas see Jesus perform a miracle and just be like, yeah, but does he know what he's doing?
Has something gone wrong? He's the Messiah. Shouldn't we be winning, not losing constantly? Stumbling around in sackcloth and ashes all the time. Hardly looks like glory.
Judas has the severe case of Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter, where most people hate her more than Voldemort just because she's freaking annoying. By pure annoyance alone, and of course for betraying my boy Jesus, Judas gets the last spot on this list. But moving on to number 11, this might surprise some of you. It's Andrew. Andrew's great. Andrew's the brother of Simon Peter, which is the, you know, if you consider him the leader of the apostles or whatever. Jesus calls him Peter, aka the Rock. His brother Andrew, he's kind of an emotional wreck. Like, yeah, he introduces Jesus to Peter. That's great and all. He's a big fan of John the Baptist, and I'm talking mega K-pop level fanboy. So when John gets arrested, John the Baptist, he kind of freaks out and starts going off on everybody, you know.
You've forgotten what they're doing to John!
You're terrifying her. I will be fine.
I'll catch them in Jotapata and petition for his release.
Andrew, he didn't ask you to help.
He shouldn't have to! I don't recognize any of you!
Brother, you're not yourself.
Maybe I should come with you. I feel responsible.
You might be responsible.
Andrew,
How could you leave?
stop this right now!
Bye, have a great time.
Just not a very team player at all in those moments. Yeah, later he apologizes and everything, good for him. But he's kind of always been very emotionally driven, you know. Even when at the start, before Simon Peter meets Jesus, he's like struggling because he has to pay taxes, right? He's trying to scheme all these things, figure out a way to pay it. And he's always like, no, we can't do that. That's wrong.
I don't like it. It's dangerous.
Yeah, we're so sleeping outside. Besides, what's the merchant ever done for you?
So what? They are our people.
We're clearing the way for the little
We?
guy. Leveling the playing field, yeah. We.
You will be cursed if you inform on them. We? Not doing anything.
Andrew, that's fine. Better get moving, though, if you want to catch the taxman. Might still be enough daylight to get out of the house before they take it.
It's like, yeah, I get it, it's wrong, but also he doesn't really have a choice, you know, like he's trying his best for you, Andrew, because he's kind of providing for the family here, and if he goes to jail, what are you gonna do? I guess I've just never been a big fan of two morally righteous characters, so that earns Andrew the number 11 spot. Now, on to top 10. Here I have no gripes with any of them. They're all pretty freaking cool. It's just a matter of which characterization I like the most. Starting off at number 10, I'd give it to Philip. Philip, great guy. Initially kind of comes off as Jesus 2.0. Tries to be very cryptic at the starts. His actor in The Chosen actually gets changed for the last 2 seasons, I think. The thing with Philip is he's very forgettable. He's not the first. One of the most interesting things he does is gets Nathaniel on the team, which I'll talk about Nathaniel when we get to him. But other than that, there's not really much I have to say about Philip, which is kind of what earns him the number 10 spot. He's not at all annoying. He's actually very supportive and kind to a lot of these women who are also following Jesus. He's a great lad, you know, but you know, that's just kind of expected. It's the bare minimum. It's what you bring on top of it that defines your personality, which I just felt Philip kind of lacked. So we'll move on to number 9 now. We'll talk about Thaddeus. Now, Thaddeus, not a lot is known about Thaddeus, but he was the very first disciple of Jesus, which earns him that spot alone. Just pure, unadulterated faith. It's easier when you have this man with a bunch of other men around him to be like, yeah, maybe he's on to something, you know, yeah, he seems like a rabbi, he teaches these people. Sure, I'll follow him, I'll join the bingo class, I'll see what's up. But when he has no one, and it's the first person who's like, you know what, screw this place, screw this stupid public amenity I'm building, it's never gonna do me any good anyway, I'm gonna go follow this man, and hope for the best. Thaddeus saw that opportunity and took it. Very nice. Thaddeus also had this intrigue about him in the show because they don't tell his backstory till the very end. Like, I'm talking literally, I think the second last episode of the show or something, or maybe even the last episode, I don't remember. And he is there with Jesus from like episode freaking 2 of season 1. We see him recruit all these new apostles, we see their backstories, but you never learn about Thaddeus till the very end. So I always had that kind of intrigue and mystery around him, which also helps him earn this number 9 spot. Now, number 8 is Nathaniel. Now, it's really funny, a little funny background about Nathaniel and Thaddeus. They're actors that they choose in The Chosen. They're actually so similar looking that when they got Nathaniel on the team, I kind of kept getting confused on who is who, but later it all cleared up.
Just because I was smart enough to go to school instead of getting mud.
My man Nathaniel, he's an architect. He's a go-getter. He wants to build the biggest, baddest temple for God. Nathaniel would be a top 1% Minecraft player. But then he does a little oopsie and his whole project that he's building collapses, injures a man, doesn't kill him, but at that point, I really thought he was gonna go the route of, that's not my fault, you guys messed up, I'm the Chad architect, my plans were solid. But instead of that, he takes accountability. He's like, yeah, my hubris. That was all me, baby. I messed up. I goofed up. He goes and he sits under a tree, kind of has a mental breakdown about God, thinks that God hasn't heard him, later gets reassured by Jesus that he was indeed heard, joins the team, and then since the day he joins the team, he always helps. And one little quirk about him is he is brutally honest. He has no filter. If he is thinking it, he will say it. One of the best scenes about that is when they come back home to Capernaum and Simon just wants some alone time with his wife. But then Nathaniel shows up.
I'm starving. Thank you. Oh, man. Seriously, though? Don't even mind me. Act like I'm not even here. I'm not oblivious. I'll put the pillow over my ears.
Nathaniel.
Absolute Chad move. You can always trust Nathaniel to say what everyone else is only thinking. If you think about it, he's the Slim Shady of the 12 apostles. Mad respect. Now, the number 7 spot, I was kind of debating between Nathaniel, which I ended up putting on number 8, and my pick for number 7, which is James the Greater, or as the show calls him, Big James. Big James is a great lad, built like the Hulk. He is the brother of John, who, as you can see on page 1324, that John, who contributed to the gospel, his brother. Now, he has a bit of a racism and temper issue, which sounds just like my friends who I play Call of Duty with. In fact, I'd say he would do great in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
And maybe he knows we don't like Samaritans.
but I'd snatch it out of the water with my bare hands if it meant not spending a night with these people.
Jesus called him and his brother John the sons of thunder because, again, they have massive rage and racism issues. Not Frieza level from Dragon Ball Z, but definitely Trunks. You know what I mean?
Why would anyone want to help your kind?
But he also has this other side, you know? He's like a big, giant, cuddly teddy bear at times. You just want to give this man a hug. Aww. Sometimes words aren't enough to describe why you feel a certain way about a certain character, and that's just how it is with Big James. He's this big, reliable pillar of the apostles. He's always there when you need protection, maybe not as much as Simon the Zealot, but, you know, he's the second one, I would say, in the entire team. All in all, I like him. Big boy with the heart of a child. Now, number 6 spot is the opposite of Big Boy. We're talking about James the Lesser, or again, as the show calls him,
Master. Little James. May I have a moment?
Dude, I'm sorry, but if I was following Jesus and he came up to me and told me that my nickname from today is Little James, I would start to have doubts. If I had a limp in one leg and I saw Jesus performing all these miracles, healing everybody else instead of me, I would start to have doubts. If I walked up to Jesus and was like, why wouldn't you heal me? And his response was like, listen, man, if people see you performing miracles and healing them while you yourself have this ability, they will believe even more. I would be freaking livid. But that's just me, because I'm not perfect, unlike Lil James. This man, oh my gosh, golly jimmies, may he be blessed. His character sometimes was so emotional that I was shredding tears. And I mean, just like every other actor who portrays these apostles in the show, this guy is freaking killing it. He is so good. He's also the second person to follow Jesus after Thaddeus. They actually find him camping because what he wanted to do, okay, he wanted to be part of the choir, okay? He wanted to be singing in the temple up there in Jerusalem, not in your little freaking Capernaum, your Nazareth. He wanted to be up there with the big boys. But because he had a deformity, the law prohibited him from taking part in the singing choir up in Jerusalem because they had to be like perfect in every way, no deformities, nothing like that at all. And that really broke this man because no one cared about his talent or his passion. And then he meets Jesus in the jungle when he's camping at night. He's like all alone.
I don't have any money. I don't have.
It's okay, Anaya. I'm not trying to rob you. Everything's fine. I was just so worried you were a dead body by the side of the road. My rabbi and I were passing by. Where are you going?
Jerusalem. Jerusalem. I've got a long way to go. Yeah, and what's it to you?
And also, that scene has the funniest, one of my favorite bloopers ever, like ever.
Jerusalem. Got a long way to go. Yeah, and what's it to you? What? Rude? Come on, Pat, forget it. We were gonna go to an inn and invite you, but it's fine. You just enjoy the dirt.
Enjoy your camping thing.
Yeah, camp away. You believe that guy?
Ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, every time you see Jesus perform a miracle and the camera pans to Little James, you just kind of get a little punch in the heart. You just feel bad for this man. Now we are into top 5, baby. Oh boy, let's get into it. The number 5 spot, I gotta give it to Simon the Zealot. He is a badass. This man is the Assassin's Creed of the 12 apostles. He's part of the Zealots initially. The Zealots were these revolutionary nationalist group, you could say. They wanted to use violence because they wanted to overthrow Rome's control over Judea. They were hated by everyone. They were hated by the Jews and the Romans alike. Nobody liked the Zealots.
You will leave first thing in the morning. In Jerusalem, you will assassinate an enemy of God.
The Roman magistrate, Rufus.
He leaves his life behind, joins the Zealots, trains, and he's sent out to be like on a mission to assassinate this one Roman dude. Now, this assassination was never gonna work because he was being tracked and followed by Atticus. He's like the freaking coolest Roman dude in the whole show, man. Atticus is so freaking cool. I should make a tier list about the Romans. Maybe some other time. But anyway, Atticus is aware of Simon's plan, so he switches places with this Roman ambassador guy that Simon was gonna initially murder, and like Atticus takes his place.
You look radiant tonight, darling.
Don't push it.
Atticus has this whole plan set up that when Simon is gonna jump him, he's gonna jump him first. And Simon's about to do it until he sees Jesse, his brother who was paralyzed, walking because Jesus healed him. This makes Simon drop his weapon and go follow Jesus. The whole thing happens, but basically because he's a zealot, everybody hates him, including all the other apostles, and he has to really earn his place in the gang. And I guess all that training he did his whole life did come in handy because this man has the patience of a saint. Even though everyone hates him and shit talks him all the time, he just, he never raises his voice. He has nothing to prove. And he also has these love-hate relationship with Atticus where they both keep running into each other. They have mutual respect for each other, but also are enemies. It's pretty cool. I really like his character. And it's a great running gag between him and Simon Peter because they're both called Simon before Jesus renames the first Simon to Peter. And it's pretty funny. All in all, banger apostle. Speaking of Simons, number 4 spot, it goes to Simon Peter, aka The Rock. Not that one, but the other one. He's kind of like the leader of the apostles chosen by Jesus, and he also is kind of the main character you follow through season 1 and season 2 of The Chosen. He's the apostle you get to know the most if you watch the show. And the only married man in the entire gang, which is really funny because it comes to bite him in the butt later on when he has to choose between spending time with his wife and following Jesus. And it was really funny because when I was watching that part of the show, Megan was sitting next to me and she kept looking at me and being like, "Would you leave me for Jesus?" They use this poor guy's home as their hangout spot, so everyone's just always crashing at his place. He's the guy that Jesus walks on water for. You've probably heard about that, Jesus walking on water. Yeah, that was his doing. As in, that was for him. The fish miracle, that was also for him. When Jesus says, "Cast out your nets into the water," he pulls them full of fish. And this guy hates Matthew with a passion. He hates Matthew more than I hate Judas. It's really funny. And the only reason he's not in the top 3 spot is because sometimes he's a little annoying and he gets on my nerves and under my skin just a little bit. Especially when he just doesn't get why his wife is cranky about being left alone. Like, come on, man. How are you the only one married here? I would say, though, man has mad riz. Especially in season 1. So props to that, brother. Top 3. The legendary top 3 apostles of Jesus according to Primacon. Number 3rd spot has to go to my boy, John.
Maybe Jesus just likes us best.
Yes, that must be it.
John is a very interesting character. Like I said, he's the brother of Big James, and they're merchants. They're son of this one guy called Zebedee, who's also a really great character. John is one of the 2 people out of the original 12 disciples who's jotting down notes of what Jesus is doing and showing, him and Matthew. And while Matthew's writings and notings are more technical, which we'll get to why it is the way it is, more matter-of-fact, factual, John talks more about emotions and more of a human people perspective, which I always appreciate. Him and Simon Peter are always at each other's throat, but when shit hits the fan, like when it's really real, John is there for Peter. He is a good friend. There's this one scene when Peter, his wife is pregnant and she loses the child while he's gone on one of the missions. He comes back, he's dealing with this whole thing. He's in a really bad spot. John doesn't know it. John is just like, what is wrong with this man? Why is he becoming a burden? Not pulling his own weight, being this weird depressed guy. So they get into like an argument or whatever, and then Simon Peter spills the beans that he lost his child. And then John, he just immediately lets the whole argument go. And he consoles his friend. Like a true friend.
I'm so sorry, brother.
Brings a tear to my eye. He's also one of the first characters you see a flash forward of after Jesus is gone, as he's trying to figure out how to start his gospel. And there's a whole episode dedicated to it. At the end, he starts writing it down, and I run and pick up the Bible, open his gospel, and there's band for band, word for word, what they're saying in the show, and it was one of the hypest moments ever. And with also being named Sons of Thunder by Jesus and never backing down when it comes to racism against those Samaritans. He's still a great lad. I really like his character. He's also really interested in the Roman gods and their basically mythology. One of the Romans, Joanna, she is, a follower of Jesus, and one of her friends has like one of the big houses in city that she's given to Jesus and his apostles to just, go and use as a safe house. In that house, there's paintings of all these Roman gods. And John's just there sitting and looking at them because he's read about them, which is freaking heresy back in those days. But, he tells Jesus, like, hey, man, like, I'm aware about these things. Please don't tell my dad. He's gonna kick my ass.
The first commandment didn't exactly make it into this home, did it?
Oh, if you think it's bad for me to look, I can go back inside.
No, please, sit. We all know you've read the Greek stories. Don't worry. I won't tell Zebedee. Your secret is safe.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Jesus is like, don't worry fam, I got you. And it's not out of a religious belief or anything like that. He is just curious. He is a learner. He likes to know things. And I saw a lot of myself in that character because that's kind of what I was doing, watching the show, reading the scriptures. I was just very curious. In fact, I went on this whole rabbit hole about the Roman Empire after I was done with the show. You have no idea what I've been doing in the last month. You guys were wondering why the videos were slow on my channel? Well, that's why. I was knee-deep from the ancient Egyptians all the way to the fall of the Roman Empire, learning about Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, everything, you name it. I was there, baby. Anyway, back to John. Love this guy. Number 3 spot. Now, number 2. Oh boy, these top 2, I kept going back and forth for a while. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna give both of them the number 1 spot. That's the coward's way out. So my number 2 spot goes to Thomas. Oh my god, Thomas. Thomas. This man, he's the Jesse Pinkman of the 12 apostles. He's the most tortured guy. Anything bad that you think can happen to someone happens to this man, and he still believes. After Quintus, this freaking Roman bastard, murders Rema in cold blood.
Where's Jesus? Where is he?
Come on, let's find the others.
The girl that Thomas was in love with got the blessings of Jesus to marry. She was going against her father's wishes to marry Thomas. They were so in love. She dies, and Thomas, he's like, why isn't Jesus healing her? Well, because it wasn't her time, you know? It was just not meant to be. And even after that, he's in such a bad spot, and he's following these guys still. Then he finds out that Jesus raised a dead girl, and he sees Jesus raise his friend Lazarus from the dead. And he just saw Rema die in front of Jesus, and he didn't do anything. And he is pissed. He is mad. He's going through all the human emotions possible.
Why him and not Rema? Why not your own cousin John? It's sick.
He's a mess. And yet, after all of that, he's still like, you know what, just tell me what I need to do, tell me my role. You guys need these things, I'll go grab them. You guys need these things from the market, I'll go get them. You know, we should do this, we should do that. He's a very matter-of-factly, he's pissed, he's upset, he's distracting himself with the work of Jesus' ministry. After all of that, these people have the galls to be like, oh, maybe it's Thomas who betrayed Jesus, because Jesus tells them in the Last Supper that one of them is going to betray them, and they have the galls, the golly galls, to doubt my boy, Thomas? Dude, I was about to throw hands. I was ready to punch someone. How dare thee! But alas, even though I love this character so much, number 1 spot. I mean, if you've been catching up, if you've done your Bible studies, you would know by the process of elimination who I'm about to talk about. The best apostle, my favorite one. It has to be Matthew, the Jew a tax collector. He was a Jew tax collector. The gospel, according to Matthew, is very, very matter-of-factly. If you read it, it's like reading a Wikipedia article. It has like no emotion to it. It's just so matter-of-factly. And the way they presented his character as someone who would write the teachings in that way, he definitely has autism. He doesn't understand social cues. He always feels like the odd one out. Not only because he used to be a tax collector, which, I mean, you know, he's gonna be hated for that for sure, but also because he's just bad at social cues. He's bad at people. He doesn't get them.
Everyone speaks in riddles. I can understand esoteric ideas. They're not beyond me.
Of course not. You'll probably pick it up faster than the rest of us. I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to sound like an oracle here.
In your obtuse language, here is a circle. It represents everything in the world and all the people that have ever been. And that's me. That's how I feel
And they show that so much. And the relationship they show with him and Gaius, he's a Roman guy who's like a father figure to Matthew after his parents basically disowned him for taking the job of a tax collector. Their whole relationship development throughout the show is so beautiful, watching that father-son story come together.
What did he say? He detests you as much as I do. And? Listen, I don't want to have to carry your corpse out, so I'm gonna wait outside for your replacement. Good luck.
I don't understand.
You are a fool.
He's like, he's like such a logical man. He's like, well, this tax collector job, if I don't take it, someone else will take it anyway. The tax will be collected, but if I'm the one doing it, I'll earn a lot of money, and then my family would be set. That's his way of thinking, because again, he doesn't do emotion. He doesn't do people's feelings or whatever, but obviously as a Jew working for the Romans, people hate him. His parents are like, damn, you brought shame to the family. They disown him. They say they have no son. He's casted out.
I'm sorry. I didn't want you to know. I didn't choose this district.
You chose this job. The Romans never forced you into it. You chose to apply. You chose to betray.
I chose a secure future.
A traitor and a blasphemer.
Well, you owe your government 2 months of tribute.
I will bring in a payment by the end of the week.
You've missed 2 payments. I was hoping Lucius could convince you, but I will no longer protect you.
I don't want your protection.
Then you have 24 hours, Abba.
Don't call me Abba.
Face, please.
What?
I have no son.
But he still tries to do his job well when he finds out that Quintus has appointed Simon Peter as like a double agent, but Simon Peter is trying to be a triple agent back, basically fooling Quintus that he's working for him while he's not working for him. Matthew wants to out him out because again, he just wants to be good at his job, which results in Matthew keeping tabs on Simon Peter, which he hates him for. Obviously, he hates him for it because Matthew was about to send him to jail. So he really resents him, and he makes sure Matthew knows it every chance he gets while they're following Jesus.
I think it's best we have a written record to refer back to.
Everything he says and does?
Yes.
We have enemies. There are people trying to trap Jesus in his words. They could twist something he said to defame him. Have you thought about that?
They will find it easier to twist something he is reported to have said than if it is confirmed in writing.
That's not how the world works. People can twist words however they want.
But it's clearly written.
Yeah, I bet as clear as the last time I saw you writing in your journal, spying on me for the Romans.
Every time his character is on screen, I am in full focus attention mode. And I've never ever sobbed harder at a TV show than when Matthew comes back and makes things right with his parents. I bawled my eyes out, man. That actor, A+. Matthew has one of the most satisfying arcs in the story because compared to someone like Philip, for example, right, there's not really much of an arc there. Even Nathaniel, like, yeah, his arc is there, but not that much. Simon Peter's arc isn't complete yet. Like I said, the anime hasn't caught up to the manga yet, so, you know, we haven't seen Simon deny Jesus 3 times like he says he will. So we haven't seen that yet. Andrew, again, his arc was that he, you know, kind of lost it after they killed John the Baptist. And then it took him a while to come to his senses and apologize to everyone. Everyone kind of has an arc, right? But nothing like Matthew. Matthew's arc starts at season 1 and concludes all the way up to season 5. And it is a satisfying journey from start to finish. So yeah, that's the top 12 list right here. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How would you rank them? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully, with this patch. I know I keep delaying it, but I just had to talk about this. Primacon signing out.